Hello, guys. This is the Marcus Allen Frishman show. We're coming to you live around the world, broadcasting live for our show. How are you, Matt?
Well, Archie, I am fine. And of course, I am Marcus Allen Frishman, and you're not. Welcome to my show.
Marcus, it's New Year, and I've got to tell you something. Tomorrow, I actually advertised my BMW for sale.
Oh, big news.
As you said to me, you say some very profound things. You said, when you're making big money, you don't care about trading it to a dealer or selling it privately. In my case, I care about every fucking dollar because things have been tough. The reason I'm selling it, I actually paid it off a couple months ago, but the reason I am selling it is because I want to get rid of the monthly commitment. Obviously, there's registration, there's insurance, there's fuel, running costs. There's also the service costs. Like that particular car, people can criticize it, but it is actually pretty expensive. The tires are $500. What's that? $350 US each. Brakes to do them are a couple $1,000, like a Mercedes or a BMW, or God only knows what a Porsche would charge for brakes.
You don't want to know what will you get? But you have to still have a car. So what will you do? You're not going to ride a bike.
No. It's okay because my wife has an Audi. We bought that last year.
The lovely Q, the red Q.
Yeah, the little Q2, which is a slightly smaller smaller than the Q3 that you guys have. Okay.
Well, I have used the Q3 in a loaner car when I check in the Porsche, and I think it's a fabulous vehicle. I can only imagine a smaller version as a Q2 would be better. I like small.
It is what it is. It's easy to park. It's just okay. And then we've got my youngest son has got a Honda Civic, which was our old car. So, and the other thing too is, Marcus Allen Frishman, poor people who are earning 30 to 40,000 US a year should not be driving around in BMWs or Mercedes Benzes.
Maybe
or
not.
Porsches. They should be. If you don't have the income, Uber or a bus pass are a. Look, I got to tell you something. I am cutting costs because I hope to this year. Look, I tell you, basically this. I refinanced my house to take money out about 18 months ago. Okay. And I used that money to stimulate my business by buying some watches and buying a few things and trying a few things. Anyhow, that didn't work. It has not worked. Okay. So I got rid of a lot of watches and I've put it back into that redraw facility. Okay. So that means the money is available, but I want to put it back because it's not free money. You understand? It's not free. It is very much so. You got to pay the pipers. You got to pay the money back. And in my case, Marcus, I got to tell you, I want to reduce my monthly costs. And then what I want to do is I want to have some more cheap travel. I've already got I'm going to Hong Kong in 10 days' time. Okay. I stay with this elderly couple in China for free. They basically see me as like an adoptee foreign son, They don't charge me any rent. They bought a coffee machine because they found out I like coffee.
Oh, people love you, I guess. To know you, love you, Archie. So I can understand that.
So they're really kind to me. They got my own room in their house. I got my own room. They They are very good to me. So then I'm actually going to Vietnam. I'm going to Vietnam in March. End of March, I'm going to Vietnam.
Vietnam. We call it Vietnam here in the People's Republic of California.
Yes. And we don't recognize Ho Chi Minh City. It's Saigon. We don't recognize the North Vietnamese rule. It's still Saigon.
Yes, yes. As is Red China. Red China.
I'm actually going to Hanoi, which is up in the north. That's really in the communist country, okay? It's really in the thick of it. Hanoi. So I'll be staying there for a couple months. So I want to try and have some. I'll be honest with you.
Archie, what you're essentially creating is you don't want to disrupt your life of being a man of leisure and a man of luxury. You can discard one particular item or two or three like you have and still have this wonderful life as opposed to being chained to a monthly payment. Now, I had a strategy to get out of monthly payments. I spent a lot of money on one Porsche in 2005, an anniversary edition. I went into it with a lease, so that's how I got into it easily. And then I bought it during the lease. And then I had so much equity in that car when I traded it in. I believe the number was $17,000, and the key to that car got me my first used car in my life. It was only a year or two old. I'm just having trouble. I think it was 2 years old and had 8,000 miles. I remember the miles. It was on warranty with Porsche. It was a Cayman. And I repeated that five times. My sixth Porsche was bought by my insurance company when it was totaled 2 years ago in the Atmospheric River. But the first one I paid dearly. The previous four, I just wrote a small check. I gave you an example, $17,000. I think the largest check I wrote was $22,000, and the keys to the existing.
How much did you normally, when you get a car, do you normally put some money down? What do you normally do? What's the?
No, well, when the first Porsche, I was a big leasing. I'd leased cars because I needed the tax deduction. It worked out tax wise, and then I bought it always during a lease. I always bought my car, except for one car.
That SLK was a nasty fucker, don't you think?
The SLK was the only car I didn't buy. I took it to the Porsche dealer. I cut a $26,000 check to get out of the lease. I then cut, I believe, a $9,000 check to get into the lease of the brand new Porsche, the anniversary edition, and the limited model, and then drove that off. And then 2 years into,
I don't know why you didn't just stay in the Mercedes. Why didn't you just stay in the Mercedes until
I had an itch to get a Porsche. I had that beautiful red Mercedes. I had an itch to get a Porsche, and you lost
so much. You lost so much.
Yes, but I had a lot of money. But the point of that story is I spent all this money to never again have a monthly payment, yet having a new Porsche on warranty 5 times with the 6th one bought by my insurance company. So you might want to go and
get my coffee. I'll be 1 moment. My coffee's brewing. I'll just go and get it.
You're a coffee man. Well, I am, my beverage of choice when I'm dining is iced tea with an orange slice and hold a lemon with a little sweet and low, which is the safest non-sugar sugar additive known to mankind. People think it isn't, but it's not on the cancer causing list that the FDA puts out like equal. And certainly Splenda has never been approved by the FDA because they call it a food product, got exempt. But I don't know how we got onto that, but I don't drink coffee or hot tea. Iced tea and Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper. These are and milk, 18 ounces, maybe 16 ounces before I sleep every night with a little Ovaltine. And here we are with the coffee. Every now and then I'll have a coffee with dessert. there's nothing like a warm coffee with a chocolate cake or a mousse pie or something. But I'm not a big coffee drinker otherwise. Archie, I wish you good luck.
Yeah, by the way, Matt, today I've got to end the show a little bit early because I've got to go to an engagement. We might end it 15 minutes early today.
All right.
But I just want to say to you, Matt, I've got the customer for the car. He's put down a deposit of 500. I sold it for 39,000 Australian. Okay, so the car is just over 4 years old, and it has. I'll tell you exactly 39,000 to USD. That is 26,000. I sold it for, and it has. I'll tell you the kilometers. The mileage, it has 40,000 miles on it. Okay.
Okay. That's
not huge. And I got to tell you, he's put down a $500 deposit.
And then what?
Then he's paying the rest tomorrow. I'm getting a roadworthy. That's basically a safety certificate. And he's paying the rest tomorrow. And as long as the money, I said, I need clear funds. As long as the money's there, I will give you the car.
You know, I'll tell you a quick story. I once had.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I was saying, one time, I was a BMW man my whole life until I became a Porsche guy. And at one point, I had my brand new 1997 BMW that I bought, which I still own. I bought it new, drove it 4 years as my primary vehicle. But I had a 91 BMW, and I had to make the decision, which one shall I sell? Because I got into my SL convertible Mercedes 2001. And I made the decision to sell the 91. Which was a mistake because the 91 turns out now, if you check the price points, it's the classic that is worth more than the original purchase. Where the 1997, which is the newer body style that's never changed since, is not so much desired. But I love it. But my point is, there was a man.
I must say, they were such a step forward, you know. So basically, you're talking that'd be an E36. And the older one, the 91, that was an E30. The E36, that was such a revolutionary step forward.
It was, and the old one was a boxy look. I liked the boxy. I had bought it new.
Yeah, the model after that one you had called an E46.
Oh, yes.
They are also considered classic. Okay, E46 and E30. Okay, and
when I tried.
I'll bring it up for you so you understand what I'm talking about, because I think
my 1991 I put on the market, and I always had it priced too high, and I kept having to lower it and not sell it, lower it and not sell it. And then finally I was approached by a man named Ansel Adams. Yep. I'm saying his full name, God rest his soul, he's dead. His son of the same name is on my Facebook. And Ansel Adams, a stranger, came to me and said, I saw your ad. I'd like to buy it. And he said, you know, Marcus, I'm wanting to change my life. He had a very terrible situation. I won't go into his personal matters. And he gave his sob story to me, and I'm a sucker for a sob story. And he said, I'd like to give you $400 a month over time. And I said, well, Ansel, I can't possibly put the car in your name. And if I keep it in my name, you're going to have to insure it. I'm going to have to monitor that. You're going to have to pay all the traffic tickets or parking tickets that will come to me. We had a handshake and a small agreement. I found the agreement when I moved to my near beach apartment that I'm in now, away from
just out of interest. This is the E36 that you had.
Yeah.
That's the one you got now. That's the one you got now. And you had the E30 convertible, which is like this. This is the classic.
Both in red.
Classic one.
Ansel Adams started to get tickets, and he paid every one of them. They would come in the mail, parking tickets. That's how he rolled, I guess. And he was good on it, and he paid me every penny. I think I sold it for $4,000 or $6,000, and he paid every penny over several years. And I looked him up a couple of years ago on my Facebook, and I found him, I thought. And it was his son, a lookalike. His son looked like him. And I reached out, and this son, Ansel Adams' son, Jr., said to me, Marcus, my dad told me about you. And this is many years after I sold that car to him. He said, you changed my father's life. I said, what do you mean? He said he was really in a bad state, and you were able to get him this beautiful car. That's what he wanted, a beautiful car. And he became a paralegal. He went to school becoming a paralegal, and eventually an insurance agent of some sort, and made a lot of money, and then died of a massive heart attack. And he said, my father talked about you. And I said, well, that's amazing. So, you do good things to people, and you'll change their lives. Maybe if you do good things, with regard to a car transaction, you'll have good karma.
Very, very interesting indeed. Very, very interesting.
I had very good karma.
It's always nice that you've done so many good things in your life. I must say that you have done so many amazing things.
Because Archie, I've done so many selfish, self-absorbed things let's say, college days, that I had an epiphany, and I changed my life in about 1991 when I realized I was heading down a self-absorbed path. Now, people still say, well, this Frishman, he's a narcissist. No, I'm just overconfident, and there's a difference. But I used to be selfish as a kid, and I'm not selfish. I might be a little cheap, a little stingy, but I try to help people, and I enjoy helping people, whether I'm paid for it or not. I help. That's what I have done for a living for years. I help people.
Very nice to see, Marcus. Very, very nice to see. And we've got one super sticker. Chris, $5. Thank you so much for that super sticker. So, Marcus, I'm going without the car. And I've got to tell you honestly, I'm actually looking at doing some travel, Marcus. I've already booked some cheap travel. I'm going to Hong Kong and Shenzhen in January. I've got some trips to Vietnam.
Do you think you'll ever go to the Philippines?
Sorry?
Do you think you'll ever go to the Philippines, Archie?
Too many temptations, Marcus. Too many temptations. There's only so many families I want to pay for in my life, Marcus.
Well, if I could set you up at the Rockwell Mall, and you'll meet some very nice upper class, family supported women who don't need your money, just need your love and your attention and so forth.
Interesting, Marcus.
That's the key to success in the Philippines. It's finding a woman who doesn't seek your money. Not to say that they can't learn to love you, because a woman can, even the ones that want to seek your money. But I prefer to hang with the more wealthy crowd. Do we have a chat with a question? I think we have a
Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle's a huge fan. He's a self-made. He's a decamillionaire, quite well off. $5. Marcus, do you still need to work for a living, or can your rent or other income sustain you without another job?
Well, it's interesting you ask that, because, of course, I'm a career political appointee that became a consultant with a team of attorneys, CPAs, and lobbyists to help people get out of trouble with the government for years. And last year, I made it a goal to have zero work income. And I achieved it. My goal was to meet it by January 2026. I met it before that. And I do have, because of my years with government, I do have a retirement with the government. It's actually called guaranteed lifetime income that increases each year. It is not based on any investment, that the government has. It is not based on any contribution I have made. Now, they stopped that in years ago, but yes, it's a guaranteed salary for life. And I got it at age 55 moving forward for life. And you can take it even if you work.
You've just blown my eyes away. I can't believe you're in your 50s.
Well, you know, one doesn't ask a gentleman his age. I reveal things inadvertently. Let's erase that in our editing process. Anyway, then the second thing is, of course, someday I'll be able to get Social Security, you know, and it's a quite nice one. And then, of course, I am renting my home, my 12-room, 4-bedroom, 3-bath that I bought in 2004. I've just moved out to this lovely little beach pad. Of course, I own a place in the Philippines as well. And I lived 4 months a year in the Philippines for years, from 2004 to 2009. I was the ambassador from California to the Philippines for 5 years, and then got a life there. But I haven't returned in a while. But the point is, yes, I don't need to work again, although I got to tell you, the day I opened my consulting business, I had been without a political appointment for 2 years. That was 2010 or 11. And my consulting business was quite lucrative in that I had never had more than 12 clients in a year. I never took less than 6. I don't know why. And these are just random numbers. I mean, I didn't seek them out. I didn't advertise. It was word of mouth. So my average work week was roughly 15 hours with 4 months of vacation a year. And that's how I became the lovely man of leisure. And then of course, now I'm winding down some existing clients. They don't pay me. I get paid an advance flat fee. So I've already been paid, and I'm winding them up. But no, I don't need another job for life. And thank goodness for that. You know, I've never really been a workaholic. I suppose if I was a workaholic and I had real passion, boy, I would have been a bigger success than I was. So I consider my success to be only moderate compared to my capabilities, but moderate by choice. Oh, we have some advice here, Archie, from somebody has advice for your BMW. It says, why don't you, where the hell is it? It's very funny, actually. Why don't you just drive it? Where is it? Did it get deleted?
I can see it here. He's going to get bad karma for transferring this BMW of an albatross onto another sucker. See, the thing you've got to realize is, yes, it's expensive. It's like any fine automobile. It's the pleasure it gives you that is it's unmeasurable. You look at the fun Marcus has had in his Porsche. You've loved your Porsches, haven't you?
Yeah, I still have the 911. It's fabulous.
I just think it's terrible you don't garage it, but hey.
Oh, here it is, Archie. Archie, just rent a BMW for a week and then drive it for a year like math. This is from Penny Stock Billionaire Gang 9632. Well, Penny, you don't have it fully right. You know, I think I actually paid for that BMW. When I say it was my father's. It was my American Express. My father paid. I think I actually paid 3 or 4 weeks of it before I kept it. It got me into a lot of trouble in California. If you keep a rent-a-car or a leased car or a loaned car, and you don't pay it, and it turns into a collection matter, it becomes a misdemeanor. It's called joyriding. The moment the lien holder, whether it be your mother who's lent it to you or the bank who's loaned you the money, it becomes a lien holder revocation, and therefore the collection matter becomes a misdemeanor, like driving with a reckless driving charge. It's a misdemeanor at that level. And so I pled no contest to this lovely misdemeanor because it's exactly what I did. And I had no choice. Well, I did have a choice. I suppose I could have turned the car back, but I was cut off from my family. I was evicted from my residence. My personal car was not working, and I didn't have the funds to fix it. And I was cut off from my family a substantial amount of money every month. I had just left college. I was still living in the college dorms, or apartment, actually, private apartment nearby. So that's my story. So it was good advice, but I wouldn't pass it on to Archie. It worked for me. I wear it as a badge of honor. I learned from that experience.
Badge of honor. There we go. There we go. It's that's exactly right there.
I should say that everybody benefited from it. It turns out the insurance company paid the rental car company more than they paid for the car when they bought it. That was all documented. I saw it in the reports. And then the insurance company sold the car for more than they paid the rental company for it. These have to be documented, and I'll tell you why. Because had there been a shortage, I would have been ordered to pay restitution. I was not. It's funny. There was a stupid story out there. You know, they attack you politically. Frishman never paid restitution. Of course, he never paid restitution because he didn't owe it. It wasn't ordered. And in fact, everybody profited on the indiscretion that I had by keeping the rental car a bit too long. Everyone profited but me. I just got usage.
100% right there, Math. Are you planning? What's happened with? I want to know what's happened to your lady friend. What's her name?
Miss Winkle.
Winkle, yeah. What's happened to her?
Well, she's fine. We're communicating. Things are good. Everything's okay. She doesn't like me to talk about her live here, but so I'm keeping it all limited now. But I used to show the picture and stuff, but I guess I had some feedback on that. So we just move on. We just say things are great. And they are.
When are you seeing Miss Winkle again? I
don't have a date yet. No date yet, Archie.
Miss Winkle might have someone else, or you don't believe that?
No, Winkle is not man-focused, let's just say. She is not focused on pursuing men like so many women are. Although, remember, women are not like men. Women tend to be loyal. Men stray. They stray with their eyes, even if they're loyal, and they stray physically if they're not. That's not an inherent trait in a woman. A woman will be loyal to a man. And they're not sexually driven like men. And I'm not particularly sexually driven as a man. So, we have some things in common because I call myself a metrosexual because I kind of have some feminine traits, although I'm fairly heterosexual. Oh, here's another super chat.
Super chat. Yankee Doodle, $2. Do you ever travel to Europe? If so, where?
Are they asking me or you, Archie?
Yes,
I have been all over Europe as a kid, and I see no reason to return anywhere. There was nothing.
It's expensive.
Well, first of all, it's expensive. It's not my style. I'm really not a guy that enjoys travel to new places. I've been to enough places in my life that I like to return. I like Florida. I like New York City. I like the Philippines. I think there are places that I would like that I haven't traveled to, but those are quite limited. I'd like to go to Singapore, and I've had a Singapore trip scheduled several times, and I have canceled it each time. I was leaving the Philippines to do it, and then something comes up, and I won't do it. And it's cheap to get out of those trips from the Philippines. So Singapore, I really desire to see it. I was interested in going to Dubai. I think Dubai would be a fabulous place to see. I don't know about Hong Kong. You like Hong Kong, Archie. Why do you like it so much?
Look, I've met this old couple who I stay with on the Hong Kong-China border. Well, China is Hong Kong, but the Shenzhen, and I can stay for free. I'm a freeloader, Math. I'm a freeloading mooch. Okay.
Well, you're more of a guest. I would put it that way.
Yeah.
They like you, Archie. Let's face it; they wouldn't invite you into their home if you didn't surround yourself as a positive, lovable person.
They were a little bit upset. They said, "Come for 2 weeks," and I booked a month. We did have a little bit of a discussion about that, and I said, look, I'm terribly sorry.
Wait, is that this trip or a previous trip?
This trip. What happened was I booked a cheap ticket there. I bought it like 6 months ago, and I forgot to get the return ticket because I wasn't sure of my plans. And then by the time it came to buy a return ticket, they were so expensive that when I had to book it, it was ridiculously expensive. So I booked it in February, and they were kind of a little bit disappointed I was staying longer than the 2 weeks. And I said, well, that's because of the ticket. And I said, look, guys, don't worry about it. I'll just rent a hotel I'll stay with you for 2 weeks, and I'll go to a hotel for another 2 weeks. Does that make sense, Mav?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we could never inconvenience you. Like they have this Asian thing of face. Like, it's so annoying because I'm trying to say to them, look, I don't mind. I can stay with you for 2 weeks and I'll go somewhere else. But they are so, how do I put it? They're so sort of picky like that. I said, oh, no, we would. I thought, oh, fuck. I don't know where I stand, but anyhow,
well,
that's what
you also sort it out when you get there. I mean, maybe they won't let you check into the hotel. Maybe they'll understand that you're going. And by the way, a hotel is a fabulous experience, as you know. It's often better than staying with friends, but I understand free is also sometimes better.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's like they really baby me. Not only that, they actually wait for me at the airport for me to arrive to pick me up.
Oh, it's fabulous. How did you meet these folks?
It's an Airbnb booking. It's an Airbnb. And then they stopped doing Airbnb, and they just said, oh, look, we like to have guests come. So selective guests they allow to stay. And
now, I bet if they met me, they would invite me for several months.
When I told them that I was short of money, they wouldn't take any fee.
Well, these are good people.
But then they've complained that I eat too much and it's expensive. So I don't. It's very passive aggressive relationship with them. Do you understand?
That's all right. You know what you could do? You bring them a gift, don't you? Get them a gift when you're there, right?
Of course, I bring them a gift. Yes, I do. They have so many. In fact, I got a bag of gifts here to give to them on the next trip because I like to give them. I give them little kangaroo toys. I've got koala bears,
toys,
wombats. I got all toys ready to go, right? Of course, I bring them a gift, but the thing is, right, Matt, the problem is they're a bit past. Like they said, oh, Arch, give us a pair of your pants. We've got a great tailor. And then they said, oh, Arch, don't put on any more weight. Your tailor said that's really. And I said, fuck. I didn't even want you, it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I didn't even want them to make me pants. They insisted, and then I get berated. It's kind of like living with your mother. You understand what I mean?
Maybe you should do a show with them. I mean, that would.
Oh my God! They're just so passive aggressive. Oh, we insist. And if it wasn't, I mean, then they got angry at me because I said, "Oh, I might not be coming for a while." They said, "Oh, we just joined the Hyatt Club to take you out for fancy foods."
Oh, that's fabulous. So they have some money. They're of means. Yes.
And then then they sort of say, "Oh, look." So they're quite comfortable. Like I said, look, I might do some touring, but they're very possessive. Like they get angry when I said I might do some touring myself. Oh no, we could never allow you to do that.
God almighty.
You know what I mean?
Why don't you tell them there's nothing wrong with saying that you have some business to conduct there, and that's as opposed to touring. And when I move about and I have to explain to people how I'm not available, I just say I have an appointment, and an appointment can be, and you're not lying. It can be
that as well. They accused me. I did that, right?
Right.
And they said, "You're staying with another host, aren't you?" That's what they said to me. "You're staying with another host." I said, "No, it's work." Oh.
These are strange folks, but in a way, you're blessed with them. You know, it's funny, this Wadley 2256, he doesn't understand the purpose of this show. You know, he says 25 people watching, big day for math. Let me tell you, so several hundred people wind up watching this show.
People watching, I tell you, 40 people watching.
Several hundred people watch this show. I don't believe it's ever exceeded over 400. It is the least popular show of Archie's lineup. And that's fine. We started this show thinking, because of my fame at YouTube, 4 million viewers, monetized, and the top percentages of 187% more popular than anyone in the world ever in 18 weeks on TikTok. I said YouTube. We thought my contribution here would add to Archie. It doesn't. But we have so much fun. We don't care if no one's watching. This is a private conversation that we have asked you to join us on.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And I've got to tell you, it's I really enjoy the time with Math. I got to tell you, I really do enjoy the time that we have together on the show. And I got to tell you, Math, this is really the highlight of my week.
I look forward to it too. And you know, the first segments, the first, I don't know, 20 weeks, 10 weeks of our show, I was focused on giving advice and parting with certain things to help people. But now we just talk about stuff, and I think it's great.
Exactly. I must say this. It's a fantastic chance there just to talk about different events around the world and that. Tell me this, Venezuela, is that a good thing Trump did or a bad thing? What's your opinion? Solely your opinion.
Oh, well, it's a fabulous thing. And we are lining up support around that region. And I got to tell you, America first, but not alone. And that's why Trump did this. And I hope the next thing he does is he takes care of Cuba, and he takes care of Colombia, and he takes care of Mexico. Now, Colombia gets a lot of money from us, from Trump, and he cuts off all the money from the previous administrations. But he kept money being funded to Colombia to help fight drugs. They are not doing their part. There is an election coming, and we think the current nutcase running Colombia will be eliminated in the election. If he doesn't step aside, like Maduro didn't step aside when he clearly lost the election from anyone's viewpoint, the same thing will happen to Colombia. I can't say that this will happen to Cuba or Mexico, but Colombia is a contributing force to the drug cartel. However, they don't ship it out by air anymore there. That was all in Venezuela. And I went to Venezuela. I've been to Caracas. It was a fabulous place. In fact, it was my favorite place in the Caribbean to visit. I have been there twice on a cruise ship, the Sitmar Cruise Line, before it became what it is. And it was the wealthiest country in the region, and it will become the wealthiest. So Trump will take care of these people. He will make them free and rich. And the people of Venezuela are out in the street today carrying American flags. Oddly, the only people that don't like this are the enemies of America. And that comes from within, the leftist Democrats. I can hardly believe it. There's no such thing as liberals anymore in America. They're just a bunch of...
We got Yankee Doodle, $2. Since you're Jewish, Math, have you been to Israel?
Never been to Israel. No real desire. Remember, just being Jewish doesn't necessarily mean that I need to go to Israel. Not all Israelis are Jewish. Israelis are Muslim, Arabs, and Jews, mostly Jews. And I look forward to never being there.
Do you believe in God, Matt?
I am religious, and I am Jewish, and I have a New Testament and a Old Testament at my bedside, and I pray every night. And I went to temple a few weeks ago with some friends. Yes, I am a deeply religious man, and have been, I would say, 50 years. Archie, didn't you want to go in 5 minutes? So you want to wrap up? So
yes, I've got to wrap this baby up. Marcus, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to the super chatters. Chris F, Yankee Doodle again, and Yankee Doodle. Thank you so much there, guys. That's the show for today. A little bit short. We'll be back next week. Marcus.
Remember,
next week, I'll tell you the car has sold, or it flopped, or it failed. It didn't. I had seller's remorse and backed out of it. I'll tell you everything. See you later, guys. Hi, guys. It's Archie Luxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW.